Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. Welcome to another United Daily Live. We are back with another video and we're speaking about Jack Grealish again today. And we're taking a dig into the reports that Manchester United are finalising a deal for the Aston Villa captain. Now, I have no doubt that we are interested in this fella because he is an absolute baller and we need to be bringing the best players into Manchester United. And for me, he is one of the best creative midfielders in the Premier League. Is one of those players we should be looking to sign if we can this summer. But I want to have a look into these reports because I'm not too sure about those reports at all. I'm not too sure about them finalising the deal. Where has this come from? Who are they that have reported this? Why are they reporting it? What's going on? Could there really be any news right now about us signing Jack Grealish? I'm a little bit skeptical on that. So we're going to be digging into these reports. We're going to be looking at all the other transfer news and, of course, latest Manchester United news as well. Because we have heard talks about Jack Grealish, about Jadon Sancho, about AdamMcKola, about so many different players that it's hard to tell which is real and which is fake. Which are the newspapers just making stuff up because they've got nothing to speak about, and which is actually concrete interest from Manchester United. So we're trying to dig into that. And I want your opinions on The Athletic saying Scott McTominay should be or could be United's Young Player of the Year. I disagree with that one. But anyway, thank you very much for you guys joining us. We have got Steve Fletcher, who is a member on AdamMcKola TV. And thank you to all our members for joining us. Steg the First joined us this morning. When I jumped into this live stream, he had joined us through the chat. Now that's disappeared, but Steg the First, thank you very much for joining us on AdamMcKola TV. The first premium video went up yesterday when we had, what did we have out yesterday? Master Debaters with myself, Joe and Jay speaking about Manchester United's Player of the Year. But the Young Player of the Year is the one that The Athletic have been speaking about, and Scott McTominay. So we'll speak about that later in today's show. But let's look at these Jack Grealish reports. Where were these reports coming from regarding Jack Grealish to Manchester United, and United thinking that it was almost a done deal and we were finalising that deal? Because that's not quite the case. I'll tell you that. We may sign Jack Grealish, but that's not the case. We're not finalising the deal at this moment in time because you've got to look at a few simple facts. We don't know how much it's going to cost yet. We don't know whether Villa get relegated, stay up, the season continues, the season null and void, when's the transfer window. We don't know none of these things. We don't know none of them. Now, yesterday, the story came out from a Man Utd from Eurosport France, I believe. Let me just bring up his profile here. Yeah, Eurosport France. And he tweeted saying Manchester United are finalising the signing of Aston Villa's Jack Grealish. And then ESPN went to report Solskjaer is keen for MUFC to press ahead with a move for Jack Grealish. He asked Ed Woodward to inquire about him last summer and in January, but both were knocked back. Ollie has been impressed by the player's leadership shown since he became Aston Villa captain. Jack Grealish is open to a move to MUFC. He's a regular visitor to Manchester in his spare time, with him finding the attention in Birmingham too intense. Aston Villa are likely to ask for £60 million plus, but United Chiefs expect transfer fees to drop post-coronavirus. And that is a big sticking point in this chat about Jack Grealish. We're not going to be looking to talk about a transfer fee with Aston Villa until we know what is going on in football. When's the transfer window? What's going on with Aston Villa in the Premier League and in the Championship next year? Is the football going to be continued? Because if they go down, United get him cheaper. If they stay up, but this drags on for a long time, and the season's null and void, this drags on for a long time, there's no football, we may get him a little bit cheaper. And that's the thing. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking about Manchester United potentially exploiting people in the market and exploiting other teams in the transfer market and getting players signed up, they're going to have to bide their time a little bit if they are going to want to exploit some of these teams. And Aston Villa might be one of those teams. Now, Aston Villa's owners are pretty rich. So they're probably not going to be as affected that much. But if Aston Villa go down, they will need to, to bring in money. They will need to sell. So it depends on that. And for that reason alone, this guy, whatever his name is a tier 4 source for you guys that love Reddit tiers and all that stuff for your sources. I prefer my ketchup in the fridge. United are finalising the signing. Man Utd. Now, we're not finalising this signing. It may be a case we've spoken with his agent. We've agreed terms. We've agreed a potential wage. We're discussing things with Aston Villa. We're asking how much money they want. But we're not yet at a point where we are finalising this deal. And I'd just be careful at this time of stories popping up with journalists and things like that are just doing it to get clicks. And we know as well, Jadon Sancho probably going to be signing for Manchester United. Possibly going to be signing for Manchester United. That's an easy one for them. Jack Grealish also seems like an easy one with them. There does seem to definitely be some interest there. So they're going to be able to spin stories left, right and centre, do all these things and make you think that they got these exclusives. When really, if you throw enough shit at a wall, some of it's going to stick, do you know what I mean? So, an interesting one. I'm still unsure with Jack Grealish, whether we sign him or not. I want him to sign for Manchester United. When people ask me Jack Grealish or James Maddison, I want Jack Grealish at Manchester United. And I will never deny that. But if we keep Paul Pogba, have we got the funds to sign him? If we buy Jadon Sancho and AdamMcKola, for example, have we then got the money to go out and spend 50 to 60, 70 million on another player? Who knows what situation we're in? Because as of yet, we've only been spending around 150 to 200 million a transfer window. Last transfer window, we didn't spend much either. When you consider we bought Maguire, we bought Wan-Bissaka, we bought Daniel James. We never ever really spent that much because we recouped like Maguire's transfer fee. We spent about 60 million last summer. So when you consider that, you can't be expecting United to spend 200 to 300 million pounds in one window. And if we're going to get Jadon Sancho, if we're going to get AdamMcKola, let's say, and the reason I say AdamMcKola is because we're not buying Harry Kane. We're not buying any of these guys, these strikers that are going to cost dough. We're not doing it. If we don't get Igalo, the level of striker we might get, I'd say, would be like a Musa Dembele or something. Someone that you could probably get for around 40, 50 million. I cannot see us spending vast sums, and even 40, 50 million would be massive on a striker. I'd imagine Igalo will just be kept on a permanent deal. Easy to make happen. 15 million quid. You spend 100, 120 on Jadon Sancho. You spent around 140 million. Now, if United then, and if you take into consideration our last two windows where we spent around 110, 120 with the Bruno Fernandes one, that would seem about right. Jadon Sancho, Igalo, maybe Sal Smalling, I don't know, Jones, Sal Rojo. I don't know, maybe a few others will be in danger. Pereira, Lingard, who knows what happens with them. And you can maybe invest again, but I don't see, if we don't sell Pogba, I don't see us getting Jack Grealish. I think we could fit them all into the team, but I just don't see it happening. Bizarre Brado says 4-3-3 with Bruno 8, Jack as 10 and Pogba as 6. 50 mil for Orba. I don't want Aubameyang. Michael Jones says Greenwood will stop Kane signing. 2 tiers says Sal, Lingard, Pereira, Jones and Smalling. Don't know where he would fit if we sign Sancho and Pogba stays, but where's that comment gone? But would not complain about the added depth, says Matt Connor. Joshua Chong's in the comments. Glenn Fletcher's in the comments as well. Another member says, I would like to see him at United as well, but can only see it as the end of Gomez. And if Pogba goes, which I've changed my mind on, and I hope he stays. Yes, Aaron, how you doing? Back again in the comments. Hope you're doing well. We're here talking about Jack Grealish and the reports coming from Eurosport France that United were finalising a deal for him. And of course from the ESPN that United were keen on him and were pushing ahead with a transfer move. But I would say those reports from the ESPN do kind of counter the reports from Eurosport France. Because ESPN don't mention finalising the deal. They mention still maybe there being a little bit of wiggle room in the price, you know, etc., etc. So, there you go, eh? How do we fit Grealish, Pogba, and Bruno? Says Glenn. It'd be good to have some depth. We need some quality in depth. And when you look at the likes of Manchester City and all those kind of teams, they have that quality in depth. United currently don't. So it'd be good to have that quality in depth. Where would you fit them in? I'd imagine us going to a 4-3-3. Sometimes you could play Jack Grealish on the left or the right of your front three. And he could, of course, play in the 8 position or the 10 position. You're not going to have a number 10 in a 4-3-3. And in a number 8, if him and Bruno with the 8s and Pogba was the 6, it's a very open midfield, you know what I mean? So I can understand where those concerns come from, and that's why I don't think if we keep Pogba, we sign Jack Grealish as much as I would love it. In a 4-2-3-1, could you play Pogba and Bruno in a 2? I'm not sure how that works. Do you know what I mean? Pogba and Bruno then have to be a lot more disciplined, and I don't think they are. Chief Leave says, is he reliable, Adam? Mate, I'll be honest with you, I don't think he is. There's a tier 4 source on Reddit, which is what all the kids love these days in the comments. But me personally, I just never got the gut feeling that he actually knew what he was talking about when reporting that. I just feel like it's one of those where they're trying to get a little bit lucky. That's all I can see it as being. Sandeep says if Pogba stays, I don't think we'll go for Grealish. Players sold but not replaced is the problem, says Michael Jones. Bang on, mate. It was never an issue getting rid of, Lukaku or those players, Sanchez at the time and all that. It was not replacing them. Not replacing them was a massive issue for Manchester United. We let Herrera go. We let Fellaini go. We let all those players go. Never ever replaced them, and we should have been replacing them. It's as simple as that. Should have been replacing them. Sal Niguez continues to be linked with United, and again, I just can't see the Sal Niguez one happening either. I really can't see that happening. Talk of a ridiculous fee before, and now it's like, all right, yeah, it's about 80-90 million United are interested in. They want to pay him 200 grand a week, but it just seems ludicrous. Maybe Sal Niguez is using us for a new deal. Maybe some players are starting to think, if they're playing in Spain, that, I need to get out of here. The money's not going to be great next time around. What's going on with this? Maybe a lot more players are going to be coming to the Premier League. Declan Rice has come to Paul Pogba's defence after Paul Pogba and Graham Souness went at it again. Mr. Stephen Arson released a video on that today, which if you haven't seen, was very good, so go check that out after we're finished here. I did a video on it as well the other day called Fuck Graham Souness, because that's pretty much how I feel about it. Fuck Graham Souness. I like Jamie Carragher. I thought he got that one wildly wrong, trying to accuse Paul Pogba of disrespect and things like that. I found it a little bit distasteful. And when you look at them complaining over Paul Pogba not knowing who Graham Souness was, let's be real. If Graham Souness didn't manage Blackburn Rovers and all that in the Premier League era and be a pundit on Sky Sports, a lot of British kids wouldn't know who the fuck Graham Souness was. I couldn't name all of those great Liverpool sides from before I was born. And I live in England. It's just not going to happen. I wanted to do a video. Someone suggested it. I wanted to go to Paris and ask French people who Souness was, and go to Liverpool and ask Scousers who Pogba was, and see who knew who the most. But we can't do that because we're on fucking lockdown. Herrera's the big miss. I miss Herrera. Someone was saying I should do a team of post-Fergie players. So create an 11 of post-Fergie players. And I thought about that, but I've written one down here. I'm going to make a separate video. But what do you want the rules to be for this? Can you include David De Gea in a post-Fergie 11? Because he was bought by Fergie, you know what I mean? But he has played since after Fergie, and he has obviously been our best goalkeeper. So if I was to do a post-Fergie 11, what should the rules be? Should you be allowed to include players that played under Fergie or not? Because they've played after. Yes, Christopher. Yes, mate. We should be reporting their videos on Pogba for being hateful or abusive. That'd be good. Just get their videos dragged down by YouTube. Pogba won a World Cup in DM. It can work. He wasn't a DM though. He had Kante in there as well. You've got to recall that. And he did have a lot of freedom in that team. 2 tiers. Pretty certain in how he feels about Saul Niguez. Says fuck Saul. Put your medals on the table. Gerrard never won a league medal and all the Scousers pipe him off. So surely if we're talking about medals, Butner is better than Gerrard. And surely if we're talking about medals, Pogba at this stage in his career has more than Souness had in this stage of his career. So fuck Graham Souness again. See, bizarre. Could we put Wayne Rooney in that team? Because only players. See, Will says only players signed after Fergie should be allowed in. So the new goals in goal? Sergio Romero, I guess. Alright then. Alright. That's fair enough. But Azar says I can. Huh. Would you prefer Henderson or De Gea, says Joshua Chong. I've been asked this one an awful lot now. Michael says the channel is growing. Adam, love it. Nice one, Michael. I appreciate your support, man, and I appreciate everyone's support. So thank you very much for getting locked in. To all those guys that have become members, thank you very much. To all you guys that have subscribed recently and get involved in these daily streams and all of my videos, thank you very much for getting your comments in and getting involved. Appreciate every last single one of you. Talking about Dean Henderson or David De Gea, I'm a big fan of both of them. Big fan of both of them, but I would keep Dean Henderson where he is at the moment. Let him stay out there on loan at Sheffield United, get valuable experience, valuable playing time, potentially being in Europe next season. You know, you'd have to look at him as being a future Manchester United goalkeeper for what he's done so far. But he's not that yet. He's not the finished article. He's still very young. He's still going to make mistakes. And it would still be a big leap for him to go from being Sheffield United's number one to Man United's number one. The pressures that come with that are different, and I think just giving him a little bit of time to settle, to continue to learn, to continue to improve. Sheffield United are doing good things. It's not like he's involved in a relegation scrap down there. So, yeah, I've got no issues with him staying where he is for a short while. That's not to say I don't want to see him return, because I think he's fantastic. Do you think Ollie can manage Jack like Fergie did with Cantona? They have similar characters, so I hope Ollie has what it takes to manage. I think so. And I think also, Jeremy, thanks for your comment, thanks for your question, and I'll try and read as many out as possible. I think it was... Which Chief Leaf wants to know about when the Premier League's returning as well, so we'll discuss that in a bit. But talking about Ollie and Jack Grealish, like, I do feel with them that Jack Grealish coming to United would probably just help him settle down a little bit as well. Help him settle. Help him become a little bit more mature. I think he is more mature. I know he had that little bit where he broke curfew and all that, but I don't think that's as bad as people make out. It is not ideal at all, but I don't think it's as bad as made out. But I think, yeah, move to United could help knuckle him down, and I think we've seen Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's man management is alright, and we've got a good bunch of lads there. So bringing a player in, you'd hope to think they'd get along with that, and I can see Jadon Sancho, Jack Grealish mixing in really well with the bunch of lads that we've got there. So yeah, man. Agree with your take on Henderson. Mine is the same, and if push comes to shove in a few years' time, wages can be made back in transfer fees, says Aiden. United approach, yeah, I don't think we're going to get Pierre-Emerick or Aubameyang, to be totally honest with you. Yes, Busby Legend. You like it? People want me to sell them, I could do, but I'm trying to see how that works. See the hair highlight for this season alone, he did magnificent, says. He's just raised the bar for himself, says Leif. What will be worse for you, Liverpool win the title or United missing out on Champions League next season? United missing out on Champions League next season, because I'd already come to terms with Liverpool winning the title, and I don't really care about them. Obviously, as the rivalry and the banter kind of things, yeah, you don't want Liverpool to win the league, but I care more about United than I do care about hating Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? The age of this team and the quality of some of the younger players makes me think a couple of good young signings, and it brings the youth through, and we could dominate again. There is that feeling of optimism at the moment, isn't there? There's really a big feeling of optimism at the moment for Manchester United fans. I mean, even Sam saying we might have a scary team next year. And it's just this, like, if you add Grealish, you add Sancho into the mix of what we already have, you strengthen maybe, you know, you keep AdamMcKola on a permanent basis. I'd be happy with those three players. I'd be happy with just those three players. Genuinely would. I still think we need a DM, but we're going to keep Nemanja Matic on a longer term deal. If you're going to want players to be given, minutes and game time, McTominay and Fred are going to have to play in that central defensive midfield role and that six role. But I think Nemanja Matic staying is possibly an issue that could come to the forefront next season. But he deserves his contract if we're being real. He has turned his form around, although I do think it could come back to haunt us. And I would like to see us improving DM. You have got to look at Matic is there, McTominay's there, Fred's there. We've got James Garner, Dylan Levitt coming through. We've got a lot of players coming through. So maybe it's all right to just take a year out to think, all right, we'll buy a DM if needs be in a season. We don't have to rush to make that decision. And that's totally fine. Jadon Sancho coming on the right seems like a given now. I'm not getting my hopes up on that one. But when you look at all the reports and where they're coming from, Chelsea seemingly targeting other players and all this kind of stuff, it does feel like Jadon Sancho is going to end up at United. And if we get Jadon Sancho, if we get, Jack Grealish, we've got a team. And that's exciting now. Once we have that team, it's then up to Ollie to get the best out of it and to make sure that we're at the right end of the table and we're pushing and we're trying to win things. We're trying to win the big trophies. Because then if he doesn't, he'll be judged more harshly. But I do think the job that he's done so far has done fantastically well in terms of building that foundations. And now we're actually looking at is, if we have a strong transfer window, we'll have a decent squad again. And we've been a while since we've been from that position. We had to kind of take a little bit of short-term pain to have long-term gain. And I think Ollie's done that. Wow, if we get those three, we'll be right up there fighting for the title, I think, says Glenn. I miss watching Martial rip soul as he's literally turning into a gold 9 in front of our eyes, but understandably, some can't see it, says Busby Legend. I beg Sancho joins, that's a ridiculous attack, says Harry. And not just that, is it ridiculous? It's not just going to be ridiculous for a season or two. When you look at that, Rashford, 5 years, you should be getting out of him minimum. Martial, 5 years minimum. Jadon Sancho, 5. Like, you should be able to build for the future with that team. The now and the future. Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. Like, Bruno and Pogba, if they stay, they should have a good few years in them. McTominay and Fred aren't old. You got Garner and Levitt coming through. Greenwood coming through. Brandon Williams, Ethan Laird. Luke Shaw's not old. Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly. There's a lot of confidence there. I'm not saying Maguire and Lindelof and Bailly are the finished article in terms of defence, and we could probably improve there, but you know what I mean? There's a lot of positivity at the moment. Get hitting that like button, guys. Can we hit, let's set a target. We got 258, 206. Can we hit 125 likes? Come on, get hitting that like button. We're about 80 away from that. We've got a super chat in as well from Prince Vargas. I hope I've said your name right. He says, Pogba signing a new deal. Lots of good PR in the air. And it does feel that way, doesn't it? Now, from the sceptical point of view, I've got to say that doing those interviews doesn't mean he's staying. Doesn't mean he is staying. But you get a certain feeling, don't you? Angel Gomez started doing a lot of TV stuff for United and things like that when the rumours came about that he had agreed a new deal. Paul Pogba, the rumours are that he's staying now. All this is going on with potentially a new deal. And he's doing all this publicity work for United. Now that could just be because he's sat at home and he has to fulfil obligations in order to justify his wage on a monthly basis, which can be the case with players. But it does feel like there's a lot of positivity being swirling around Paul Pogba's name at the minute. Which is, madness. Chris, what's wrong with your account? I've put it in timeout for a second, so sort that out, please, because you keep posting the same message again. And I've replied to you, and you've replied to me again, but then the message keeps coming back. So, is your account glitching or something? Let me know, but I'll put you in timeout. I've not blocked you because I know you were asking normal questions just a minute ago. Thank you for your super chat, Prince. Appreciate that. Ronaldo was doing interviews before he left. Yes, that's true, Sam. If you could choose one player from our past to put into the United squad now, who would you pick? Roy Keane. Don't even have to think about it. Don't even have to think about it. Imagine a young Wayne Rooney in though with Rashford and Marshall. Ooh, ooh, that'd be good. That'd be really good. My problem is not with Pogba, it's with his snake agents, his Leif, uh, making it feel like it's a Pog away. I think Pogba has the Bruno effect and loves United again. What's going to be interesting when this virus is over is the preseason because I think they're going to stay at Carrington and the new players can adapt in a short time, like Jadon Sancho and Jack. They're both English. Keep up the good content. Thanks. Nice one, Prince. Yeah, I don't think we'll end up having a preseason in anywhere like Asia or America or anything Australia that was possibly planned. We were hearing about India and like I would love to go see United in India, and unfortunately, it's not going to happen now. So shame. Jack Grealish for the 11. What you reckon? Grealish 11, Sancho 7. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Smalling to Arsenal will be good for everyone. Yeah, it'd be good for my banter purposes as well. Have you heard the reports of Juve being willing to sell Ronaldo for 50 mil because of their financial problems? Says Al. I feel like that one's gone now. It's not going to happen anymore. It'd be great, but it's not going to happen anymore. Just to sing Viva Ronaldo again, it'd be great. Do you think United will take advantage of clubs like Villa and Birmingham that might struggle? Yes, mate. Yes, I think that's exactly what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was speaking about when he said they'd exploit some teams. Aston Villa have very rich owners though, so I'm not sure what's going on with that one. But in the case of Jude Bellingham, yes. The thing with Jude Bellingham is he's got interest from elsewhere. There's a lot of people interested in Jude Bellingham. A lot of people interested. So he could still go elsewhere. You could look at Dortmund selling United Jadon Sancho. Maybe saying to United, look, we'll give you 10 million off Jadon Sancho if you like back off Jude Bellingham. And then a deal's done in that kind of regard. I think United may have had a similar kind of thing with Leicester City in the summer with Yuri Tillmans, where we were going for Harry Maguire, and it was well within our interest to then just say back up off Yuri Tillmans and say, all right, it'll make that negotiation for that player a little bit easier. Um, Pre-seasons are for commercial use only, says they are, but ultimately they help United become the rich club that they are, and they're also a massive opportunity for fans abroad to get to see United for the first time. I've been to two pre-seasons and tours. I've been fortunate to be to two abroad. I've been to like pre-season games at Old Trafford and in England and things like that in the past. But I've been to two pre-season tours abroad. One in America in 2015 was it or 14? I can't remember exactly. But I went to America and I went to Australia last year, Singapore, etc. this year. And when you see some fans that haven't had the opportunity to see Manchester United, and they finally get to see them, even if it is in a pre-season friendly that is meaningless and there's going to be 100 substitutions at half time, I think it's a real difference to them. And it makes like all those probably those long nights, staying awake, waking up early, taking time off work, like people do in England. I suppose it makes those nights all worthwhile when they finally get to see United in the flesh. So it's great for them as well, and India would have been nuts. India would have been a madness. I know it's all sorts of political craziness going on over there at the minute, and it's not great. But if you could put that to the side and just focus on the football over there, it'd be amazing. Be amazing. Sancho to United and Ferran Torres to Dortmund, says Vishal Tumbi. Could happen. Could happen. Could happen, guys. Get your questions in. We are now here at 12:30 where we normally wrap up the stream. But if you've got any questions, super chats, comments, whatever, let us know. Get them in before we finish, and we can maybe read a few out. If you are interested in these, a few of you guys were yesterday. Keep an eye out on the channel, and we'll try and get something in. Fairmont says, "Could you do a quick catch up, please?" And am I keeping well? I'm doing very well, mate. I hope you're doing well. We were looking at the reports from a journalist in France. He works for Eurosport France. His name is Manu Lonjon, who yesterday tweeted that United were finalising a deal So I decided to have a little bit of a look into this. Now, this guy isn't a massively reliable source. He isn't a troll either, but he's not a massively reliable source. So I would take that finalising the deal with a pinch of salt. Now, there seems to be clear interest there. And when you read things in The Athletic and the reliable sources in England, there seems to be some interest there with Manchester United and Jack Grealish. But we're not finalising a deal for him. We're not in a position to. Not until we know where Aston Villa are going to be. Are they going to be in the Premier League or the Championship? When's the season going to restart? When's the transfer window? Until we know those things, we won't be pushing the deals ahead with the clubs. But what we may be doing is speaking to players and speaking to agents and trying to get a deal over the line with them so that we're prepared and ready for when the transfer window opens. If United could get some deals done in before the summer window opens or before the transfer window opens, whenever that is, hallelujah. We also heard, so if you look here, Chief Leaf Gamer, so I'll do this a little bit as well and I'll answer some of your questions in a minute. Chief Leaf Gamer asked earlier about when's the season restarting again. And clubs want the Premier League sorted by June. There were some reports of that. Clubs want the Premier League sorted by June because obviously contracts will be expiring in June and around that time. Things like that. If we look at Ighalo's loan deal expires at the end of May. So clubs want it sorted by then. If it's not sorted by then, we could see some issues. So I assume we'll be hearing more of that coming from them. I'm sure Dean Henderson signed a deal with United recently, so his deal should be absolutely fine. Wouldn't be surprised if we got him signed down to a new one, though, with Chelsea and people like that sniffing around constantly. Stop, Adam, you're getting me emotional. Sorry, guys. In Bruno, captain in the making. You know, even if he didn't have the armband, he looks like a leader, and that's what we need more of in this team. When you think of United's great teams over the years, you think of, you know, leaders all over the park. War Sally says he's a new sub. Keep up the good content. Thank you very much, Was, or War. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Any report on a striker? Says Boss. At the moment, we've not heard anything in regards to whether United are going to definitely sign Jadon Sancho. We'd heard initial reports that United were interested at 15 million a few weeks ago. And then Jadon Sancho came out and said there's been no discussions. Now, United will be waiting to see what happens with the season, what happens with his loan deal, because FIFA may trigger automatic extensions in loan deals and contracts and things like that. But Shanghai Shen will probably have to agree to that. So we don't know what's going to happen with him. Have we seen the last of him in a United shirt? There's a small possibility that we actually have. But I actually feel that we'll probably end up signing him, signing Jadon Sancho. As much as we are linked with Harry Kane and Thomas Werner and... His name Thomas? Did I just say Tom? Why? You know when you write something? His name's not even Thomas Werner. Tim. Fucking hell. Timo Werner, Thomas Werner. When we link with all these strikers anyway, Timo Werner, Erling Haaland, Harry Kane, Moussa Dembele. I just don't think Kane, Haaland are realistic. I don't think Werner's going to happen. And I just think United will go with giving Jadon Sancho a permanent deal and Viva Igalo in it all the way throughout the season. So there you have it. Damien says, surely legally FIFA has no right. Yeah, I thought that as well. I don't know what they're talking about. But they're on an absolute madness. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in today on AdamMcKola TV. Remember, we're back at 12 o'clock every single day, UK time, 12 p.m. Check out what time that is for you guys, wherever you're staying. Up later on today is the Weekly United. Tomorrow it is United Daily and Straight Up MUFC with D and myself. And then on Saturday we have got United Daily and that head-to-head between myself and Foot FG, the Manchester City FIFA player. We had a best of 3 head-to-head on FIFA 20. It was an absolute epic one. So make sure you're joining us for that. I'm going to get on the edit and get that done up and make sure it's out for Saturday. So thank you very much for tuning in to AdamMcKola TV. Remember, there's daily content right here. So make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Thank you to Steg, the first for joining us on AdamMcKola TV as a member as well. We've hit 26 on there. We're trying to hit 50 by the end of the month. So if you can, please check it out. If not,